So here's a question from another viewer. How can clinical hypnosis assist me in dealing with my emotional pain and stress? Well, clinical hypnosis, basically what that does is it allows you to tap into your subconscious part of your brain, or some people call it the unconscious part of your brain. And that is the part of the brain that holds, carries, and executes all of our daily habits. Not just the habits that we have, like wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, wash your face, that stuff too. But it also has the ability to control how we respond to everything and anything that we have in life. That includes, things that you feel love from, things that you feel happy about, and also things that make you feel sad, angry, depressed, hurt, guilt, shame. The list goes on. If it's an emotion that comes out of you without you trying, that's the key factor here, where you're not trying to feel a certain way, it just kind of comes out of you. That is in your subconscious or unconscious part of your brain. It's also because the unconscious is massively bigger than the conscious mind. If you look at the conscious brain, for example, it has the capacity of processing an average of 128 bits of information per second. But if you look at the unconscious or the subconscious brain, it has the ability to process up to 2 million bits of information per second. 2 million versus 128. So it's almost like having a regular hard drive in your computer versus like a network drive, like a massive drive that has tons and tons of terabytes that most people will use if they're making videos or editing photos, like that kind of thing. You actually have that in your brain right now. So how does clinical hypnosis help you deal with the emotions? Well, it helps you by getting past the conscious brain, the part of your brain where you have to think about stuff, where you have to force yourself to do things. And instead, it helps you get into the subconscious part where all of the reaction, the memories, the way you decide without thinking about it to respond to a given situation comes out. That's also where it's created. The problem for most of us is that we never learned how to use this, but clinical hypnosis allows you the techniques and skills on how to get in here every single time you need to make long-lasting, beneficial change, which is huge because it means that if there's things that hold you back, like I know for some people, for example, I wanted to do something as simple as go swimming again. There's one client that we had, she couldn't swim for 20 years because of one bad memory, one bad experience she had when she was 8. And she came to us now that she was over 30 years old. Clinical hypnosis allowed her the ability to release the emotional triggers, the negative triggers from that old memory. And instead, it allowed her to just to feel normal, neutral, what we call neutral, where you don't really have an emotional attachment to that old thing in the past. So what did she do? The next day, she just dove into a pool and swam. No big deal. Somebody else wanted to learn how to drive. This young person wanted to learn how to drive, and they weren't capable of driving because they felt fear about driving. Fear. Now, for whatever reason, whatever happened to them, it was just something that they felt. It was a heavy, heavy fear. Or as of now, after using hypnosis on a couple of occasions, they now have the ability to still have some fear. I mean, look, if you're going to learn something new, of course you're going to have some fear to it. But the fear for that person went from a 10 down to a 4, where it was like 100%, I'm not even going to think about being in the driver's seat, all the way down to a 4 where they felt nervous because they knew they could hurt themselves if they're not careful. It's a new thing for them to be able to drive. But they still had the guts to go do it, like what we would classify as like a normal human being. You're a little scared to do the thing, but you go and do it anyway because you know it's good for you. You know it's something you got to do, right? So in closing, that's what clinical hypnosis is capable of doing. Bypassing the conscious, get to the subconscious, get to the heart of where all those reactions and habits are formed, and controlling that part of the brain so that way your new habits, the things that you want to do, they're just there. They're automatic. You don't have to try. They just come out of you when it's time for you to go and do whatever it is you got to do. That's the power that we've experienced from utilizing clinical hypnosis, and something you can look forward to having as well.